Listen and watch Voices with Blake on Dan Blake TV on YouTube. Yes, so it's Voices with Blake, episode 4. We're back again for another episode. It's great to be back in the studio, and I'm joined by a very talented man, a friend of mine, doing his thing in the media game, presenter, voiceover actor, and various other things, man. Omar Howard, how you doing? Welcome to the podcast.
My guy, man. Thank you very much, bro. Honestly, just big up for having me, man. We're there. We've been trying to do this for a sec.
Yeah,
and to be here, getting it done, and to have some conversation, it's good, man. Things are good.
Yeah. How you feeling today?
Bro, I can't lie. Long ass drive.
Yeah.
But we're there, man. We're there.
We're
Like,
there.
it was, do you know, I like them long drives, though, because for me, it's like, I was saying when I got in, see, when you're on these long drives, I visualize my car as like a thinking box.
Oh, yeah.
So see, when you're in, very rarely throughout the day, you get a chance to just be on your own and be with your own thoughts, because there's always stimulation coming from everywhere and your phone's beeping. So just to be in the car and have that 2 hours to myself, it was good, man. I did a lot of thinking, put on a podcast myself. So man, it was nice, man. What you saying? How you though?
Yeah, good. And you just saying that, it reminds me of when I come to your podcast. It was similar, where
Yes.
it was a long drive, so I had time to reflect. You know, it was a new route and a new journey as well, which also I kind of think opens, you know, your endorphins a bit, where you get to have the excitement of a new journey where you're going to a new location.
True.
It gets you thinking, you know.
Yeah, man. And I get excited for coming to things like this, because when we chat, usually when we're around at work and industry stuff, we always seem to have good chats.
Yeah,
and it's
real.
kind of peak, because it's always like, oh, yo, see you soon, yeah, because like we got to do we got to
Yeah,
work,
guys,
you know what I mean? So, and it's nice to have a longer duration conversation. Look at that rhyming and that.
Yeah, it's a blessing.
But yeah, it's a blessing, because I think we're on a similar wavelength with certain topics, and yeah, I feel like I pick up yourself, because when I started doing my voiceover stuff at BBC for 3, you reached out straight away, and it was like, okay, cool. I got like a black brother in the building who's looking out for me. So I felt that kind of unity straight away. So thank you for that.
Oh, appreciate it, bro. Love, likewise. You know, you're been feeling the good energy from you, and you just remind me of myself, like when I was first starting in the game and coming into the industry, and it's good to see that the positive energy that you're having in it, and keep it like that and enjoy it. You know, enjoy the process.
Yeah, man.
Enjoy the process for sure. But let's get to. I just want to know a bit about your background. You know, coming up, growing up. Tell us a bit about your background, Omar Howard.
Omah Howard, you know. So I grew up in Surrey, borderline. You know Kingston.
Yeah,
So
Kingston.
Kingston. So you've got 30 minutes one way. You're in the city. 30 minutes one way. You're in on like a country walk. That's the location set. But for me, like growing up in school, it was hard for me, because I wasn't very academic, in the sense I wasn't good at your maths, English, science. Like I was the kid to just be forcing bare PE. You know, you just want to just like bang a bit around us and just be like, I don't thrive in an environment where it's like, all right, now you got to copy this, down, write this. My brain I was just never good at it, and I always felt a lot of pressure at school. So you know the ones where it's like you come home and you know you got to do your homework.
Yeah.
Like there was bare arguments, bro. Like I was the cause for so many arguments in my household when I was younger, growing up, because school was pressure for me, and it's like that for a lot of young people, and it's taken me to come out to kind of clock how kind of peak that environment can get. But saying that, at the same time, like the juxtaposition is, I wasn't very good in the classroom, but in the playground and when I was with my people, like I say it with not an egocentric way of thinking, but I was very popular in the sense that people knew me, people resonated with me. I just knew a lot of people, you know what I'm saying? So I had like the balance of not being very good in the classroom, but when it got to the playground, like I was always like the kid that was spitting bars, the kid that was like cracking jokes, and that's where the vibe was, you know? And them times there, like, yo, you know when you're a kid, you just have the wildest dreams.
Oh yeah.
Like, yo, I wanted to dance, I wanted to sing, I wanted to rap, I wanted to be a radio presenter, I wanted to do all of these things because I knew that I wasn't very good in the classroom, and I knew that was a rough environment for me, I knew that I had to think of an alternative, and these were the alternatives that I was thinking of. And when you're like sitting back in the day watching Britain's Got Talent on TV and that, and you're seeing people do great things, it's like, yo, I could actually do that, you know? So that's always been in the back of my mind. Like, I think subconsciously that them seeds have been planted from day one, and also from other people. Like, I've had my mum and other people saying I'm talented, and I remember going to yo, this is mad. Remember parents' evening and that?
Yeah, of course, parents'
like,
evening.
Let's be real. No one rated parents' evening. Do you know, I used to tell my mum to like just stay at home and like just try to do it on my ones. Ended up my dad stayed at yard.
Brave.
No, trust me. My mum came through because my mum was always the nicer one. Man. I knew if my dad was to come through, he'd ask bare questions and start poking me up when I get home. You know what I mean? But yeah, I remember one parents' evening, and there was a music teacher, and he was like, he literally just said, Omar's got an ear for music. Like, he said that. And it's these things which, like, I remember that I was like, oh shit, maybe I do have an ear for music, you know? Yeah. And I started to take myself seriously outside of the classroom environment. And then all of that kind of aspiration and the willingness and wanting to do these amazing creative things, it kind of faded. I think because I was around certain people. Okay. You know, you're a kid, you're growing up, you're experimenting with things, you know, you know what I mean? You're learning through experience. And I think with certain experiences and certain environments, that dream kind of died. It was like a firework, it just went out. And I went to college, and bro, I was at college, yeah, and there was this, you know, when everyone's doing UCAS applications to go to university and that, yo, I didn't know what was going on. I remember just this teacher one time was like, yeah, let's do some UCAS applications. I'm like, I don't even know if I want to do uni. And I feel like it was, in another life, I could have easily fell into the trap of just, okay, let's do it. And then been in another environment where I'm not progressing. So I decided to finish college, left, started doing door-to-door canvassing, which is like, yo, bro, I was the guy that was knocking on your doors, shifting for like conservatories, windows. I was trying to hustle and sell you conservatories and stuff, man. But from that, I was like, nah, let me actually start to think about what I want to do. Let me come back to that original thought process that I had as a creative kid growing up, wacky in the playground and that. Let me actually see if I can bring that to life. And as I like distance myself from certain people, no love lost, but just people take different paths in life. And to create a new path and to reinvent myself back to where I wanted to originally be, I had to distance myself. So from distancing myself from certain people, being in a new environment, started going to like networking events, found out about a competition called the Kiss Chosen One. I remember back to that was in 2019, which is a scout for talent, which Kiss FM do to find the next like radio presenter. So I won that in 2019, got a 3-month contract on Kiss Fresh, and then that was kind of the launch of the career. So what I've given you is just kind of a little explanation of the background into where and into like a merge of career and where I've got myself into the creative space. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I remember Kiss Chosen Ones because I remember entering one year myself. Actually.
Yes.
So congratulations on your win,
my guy, man.
I know it's quite a daunting process because people show up to like a shopping centre, from what I remember,
bro,
and there's like a queue. And it's going round to the end of the block of the shopping centre.
It's spooky, you know.
Then you got to meet the presenters inside, and then you get, you know, it's your moment to try and shine. So just tell us about, you know, that process of, you know, lining up in a queue and going through all the audition process before you got the job. You
hit the nail on the head. It is looking back like, yo, it's scary, man. Like, we're talking a glass. Let me get back to that. So there's 3 ways to apply. Or I don't know if they're running it anymore. Potentially they might run it into the future. So if anyone's listening and they might think that the scheme's for them, I think there's other schemes where people do similar things to this. And keep your eye out because Kiss FM might do it again. But so there was 3 ways to apply. You put a hashtag, like a video with a hashtag. You go to the Westfield audition. That's it. And then there's one other way. I forgot, but I did. It was a video. That's it. You have to post a video of like why you would be
the guy.
Yo, I swear down, I did all 3. Yeah, I was like, cool, I've got to do this. And then so I did the video, I did the post and the hashtag. Yo, I've gone to Westfield now.
Yeah.
Gee, scary, boy. Like in Westfield, Stratford Westfield, yeah, there's a big glass box. Yeah. Bare creatives, people of all different backgrounds, shapes, sizes, all trying to like come for this next opportunity. You're in a glass box, Dan, yeah? So like you're trying to like, so you get in there, they give you something to read out. So it's, for example, it's like, yes, what's going on? My name is Omah. Da, 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 da. You have to read out a whole script in front of like 100 people back there. Like, gee, I was sweating. I was sweating, G. Like, you know when you're like, you know,
you're flustered. You can't
bro,
help
you know, like the nervous toilet break that you do, bro. Like a quick toilet break, like just, bro, hands are sweating. But you know what? From that, yeah, I feel like, so I've done a couple of auditions since, and just from that, I feel like auditions are my thing, because it's fight or flight, innit? When you're in that, when you're in a place where people are, you have to go and give it, or you crumble. You have to give it. Like, why are you gonna crumble? Like, you have to give it. So it's like, it's weird. Suddenly, this thing on. If I'm in a place where like I'm sweating, knees weak, arms are heavy. You know what I mean, bro? I'm something. It's like I get possessed. Something honestly, bro. Something takes over. I'm like, yo, forget this Omah. That is just like here. Like, it's like, yo, what you saying? How's everybody? You good, yeah? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it's that extroverted confidence which just comes out, which is, I think it's played a big part into getting me into certain rooms and getting me to where I am. And do you know what? I feel like for a lot of creatives, bro, you speak as well, because I don't know, man. I feel like a lot of us are introverts at heart, and they can unlock the extrovert when it's needed.
Oh yeah, for me, it's definitely an element of performance, man. It's like, yeah, definitely could say even just low key off camera and stuff like that. But even shy, you know, at times, you know. But my background as a musician, like yourself, like when I was like early 20s and my teenage years, I was in the music game as a performer. So I felt like it was always fight or flight. You get on stage in front of people, I better show up and rap good or sing good, or people are gonna laugh at me and I'm gonna crumble. But I said to myself, my talent is always gonna do the talking here. So I never thought like off camera, like I had to be like, you know, this kind of same performer. But it's like when it came to the moment, it was fight or flight. But I was always confident in my ability. So I knew that it's just about, as you were saying, I feel like it's like an extended version where when it's time, I'm like, nah, I'm out here.
Yeah.
Thing. My artist name back then, I was just going, yeah, it's Brainlock time. Yeah, let's go.
What Brainlock was your name?
MC name.
Yo,
Brainlock.
that's hard.
But it was the term meant lock to thinking. So that was, but before that, I was called Rage Rex. So that was more like, again, I was a small guy around all the MCs, but then when I come on mic, I had the big voice, and they know that I'm going to shell it down. Shell it down means just, I'm going to do a madness on the microphone. So that means, when it's time, I was always the guy that's ready to just, do a good performance. So, I always felt that what you're saying about when it's time, just show up and do your thing, and then coming onto radio and voiceover, it was just like the same kind of principles that I adapted, and I still adapt to this day. When it's time, I'm going to give my best no matter what. So even if I do flop, you know that I still gave it 100, and I still gave my all. You know what I mean?
I like that. This is something that I've been thinking about, because I'll be real. There's been sometimes I think it's only normal that you get a lot of anxiety when you're going through certain things. Like, for example, I'll be finishing work here, and I'll just be feeling a little bit anxious. It's like, okay, why am I feeling anxious? Is it because of the workload? I don't know what it is. And I've identified, I've said to myself, like, as long as I'm doing the best I can do in this work, then there's nothing to worry about. Because if you're worrying about things that aren't within your control, then you're it's like having a knife and stabbing yourself in the leg. There's no point. So as long as I say, cool, I've done my best, then I'm good. There's no need to worry. So that really, what you said there about that, it just really resonated with me, because it's something that the anxiety, I think, in the creative world, and especially in the realm of social media, is very, it's there. The pressure's there. and you don't need to feel it, because as long as you're confident and comfortable within your own abilities, then you should be good. You know what I'm saying?
And it's lovely that in that moment you took your opportunity, and the opportunity progressed your career and propelled you into a role where before you entered that audition, you know, you was on your life journey, and then your life must have changed pretty dramatically in the space of, you know, that competition. So leading on from the win and the Kiss 100 chosen ones, that was right at the kind of beginning of your journey in radio. How did things change for you right after the win? How did life change? What was the immediate impact?
Yeah, man. I think it was just being connected with a lot of industry folks, for example, producers, presenters, other creatives, artists. These are things which in school, when I had the initial like dream of being in that space, you wouldn't think about. And then when like it's in front of you, it's just like, okay, cool, utilize this. So the vision and the aim was to use radio as a launch pad to branch off into other things. I was very it was very hard at first starting on Kiss Fresh, because for me, coming from no radio experience to having a national radio show, bro, you should have seen how I was presenting, G. Like a big thing in radio, and I think just in this industry, is to be authentic, right?
Yeah, 100%.
And I didn't know who I was, bro.
Yeah.
Like I was lost. I was like, yes, what's going on? You're locked in it, bro. It was mad. So
You say Barry White voice.
yeah, no, mad thing times 10. And I was working with someone called Jay Disruptive. He was a producer at Kiss at the time. He's now got his own talent agency called Disruptive Talent.
Okay.
But he was just like, bro, you can only pretend for so long. This is the advice he gave me. He said, yo, Maya Jama is Maya Jama because she is Maya Jama. Yeah. Nobody else can be Maya Jama. Nobody else can sit there and be Dan Blake apart from Dan Blake.
100.
I can only be Omar, and if I'm not Omar, I can only pretend for so long before I get caught out. Do you know what I mean? So that stuck with me. I was like, oh, say nothing, yeah. And with some like coaching on tone and delivery and stuff, I managed to get comfortable. So I'll be real. It was like the first 6 months to a year it was a lot of learning and a lot of training. It wasn't all boom, 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 bright, like, let's go. It was like, okay, cool. I'm here now. I'm in the building. How do I become? Who am I going to become? You know, these were the questions which I was asking, and I was working. This is what I was working on. And yeah, with working on that and getting comfortable, boom, lockdown hits now.
Oh, wow.
You know, lockdown hits. So I started in 2019. Remember, COVID was like around in 2019. And then, went into lockdown, which was hard, bro, in the sense of I've come from just kind of getting to grips with things, lockdown coming to being recording shows from home, like recording shows from my computer and stuff like that. And it was hard, man. Lockdown, it was, don't get me wrong, it's hard for a lot of people. It was a blessing in the sense that it allowed me to press pause on my life and I could find balance in other things. So I wasn't feeling so much pressure from work, because I was able to read and go gym and kind of open myself up to a new dimension of life in a sense. But work-wise, like, it was long, because in this space, as you know, you want to be going to the studio. I want to be going to the studio and I want to see Dan and talk to Dan and like, what you saying? How have you been, bro? You know what I mean? Live desk and live interaction coming through. And then coming out of there, I got partnered up with, this was in lockdown actually, I got partnered up with my co-host Sam at the time. Big shouts to Sam Darliston, very sick presenter. So we were working together for like over a year. And we built a show on the weekends. And then from that, I branched over recently to Capital Xtra. Capital Xtra Evenings, that's the solo show. My guy, I appreciate you, bro. And yeah, man. And now it's like, now I'm really starting to build my brand more, you know, like now it's like, okay, cool, this evening show is very music focused. We're talking to artists, and we're making artists like the focus of the show and the music the focus of the show, as well as like being there for people that are cruising back from the gym and cooking dinner and stuff. So now it's like, okay, cool, now I'm seeing connections building with artists that I'm interviewing on the show, and also I'm building outside. If I go back from even getting a Capital Xtra gig, from when I was building that at Kiss FM, I was I got the gig to do voiceovers for BBC Three, which was just another like kind of pillar to build on in the industry. And then along with that, also, this is where I met Nick Bright. I know you had him on the show recently. We were hosting at something called the 100, which was a form of cricket. It's like 2020 cricket in a sense. I know a couple of cricket fans will be like, no, it's not 2020 cricket, bro. But yeah, man. So yeah, from there I've been able to do some more sports presentation, live hosting, DJing, and the brand is building. So like for me, where I see Omah, or like the brand Omah, is to be the guy to go to for like voiceovers, mixing, and live events, and it's just kind of like the male Maya Jammer in a sense, you know. So yeah, definitely to answer your question more directly, because I know that I was very sporadic. From starting on that on Kiss Fresh, it's presented a lot of opportunities and a lot of lessons, and things are molding, bro. I remember there was an Uber driver once, and I was like, this is before I even knew what I wanted to do. When I was in that like weird transitional period of like, oh, what's good? I was like, yo, he was telling me all this stuff he was doing. Yo, Dan, he was listing off bare stuff.
Yeah, he was getting in.
These Uber drivers have a whole life, you know. Like it's, bro, but
by the time the journey's over, you're like, yeah, I know everything about my.
Bro, this not just driving cars. Yeah, they've been doing this, you know. Yeah. So I was chatting to him, and he did so many amazing things. I was like, yo, how did you get into all of this? Because I didn't know what I wanted to do. Yeah. And he was like, brother, sometimes life just happens. And yo, I was like, yeah, rhythm, like life happens.
Yeah, being in the moment of life.
Yeah. If you're just present. In the present, things will unfold around you. And whether you believe in God or creator or whatever, situations come.
100%, I believe it.
Situations get put in front of you for a reason. You know what I mean?
So much.
So it's like, and you look at your journey, and I look at my journey, and you look at your journey, and it's like,
Jojo,
and it's like, I was talking to these lot, Jojo as well though. but yo, it's like, you have to deep, yeah. If I didn't do that, or if I didn't do one thing, I wouldn't have met you. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't have met you. I wouldn't have been in this situation. So you have to give thanks for every situation and make the most of every situation. And that's what that Uber driver taught me. And that's what I've kind of kept with me since I got the kickstart in the industry, you know? Being in the room, being in the building with you. Like, if you didn't reach out, if you didn't just make that move to reach out to me when I started, we wouldn't be able to I wouldn't be able to learn from you from when you came onto my podcast and we were talking, and even now, learning from you, you know, like it's these situations are put there for a reason. So
it's so true, and we're happy with all the journey and progress you're making, and amazing stories. So right now you're on Capital Xtra right now. I would say one of the leading commercial stations out there in the UK. So being on such a big platform, are you feeling like you have a sense of this is like a very special role here in the UK, and I've got everybody now looking at me thinking, yeah, this is the show that you just replaced, like I think Rob Bruce, who's now gone to The Breakfast, and he was very a key figure in the UK music industry for bringing through musicians. Are you feeling that role has a very powerful presence to it? Now you've just kind of taking off your shoes and settling in because you've had some big guests already. Legends like Dizzy Rascal have been on your show in just the early stages. So how is the presence of that role feeling at the moment, being in position?
Yo, yeah, man. Like, first of all, shouts to Rob Bruce, because I remember Xtra's always been part of the vision and the plan. Yeah. Like, that's been, in a sense, an end goal, is to be being on a station where I'm playing music which is representative of my culture, my perspectives, so to be playing like music from black artists and stuff is like, that's big for me. And Rob as well, from what he did and for kind of shaping that show. It's big boots to fill, G. I can't lie, I was shaking getting into there, but like it's when I like walk in, I hear them IDs of Omah Howard, Capital Xtra events. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, cool. Yeah. Like, we're here. And then when I put that mic up, it's like, okay, I have to speak now and the nation are trusting me. They're putting their time and trust into this show. So it's definitely something which I'm looking to build, not only for myself, but I'm building it for the audience. You know what I mean? I want to build a rapport with the audience. I want people to turn on that radio and be like, yeah, I like this guy. You know what I mean? Big shouts to Reese Parkinson, because
big shouts.
he's I listened to his show. I haven't even told him this. But I used to listen to his show all the time. And like it got to a stage where that was just it was my friend. You know what I mean? Man doesn't even know. But it's just like, yeah, people listen to the radio because they want to listen to music, but also they build an attachment and an affinity with the personality, the rapport. So that's definitely the direction of what I want from this show. And also when it comes to the UK scene as well, like being in front of like Dizzy Rascal, Lethal Bizzle, you know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, and like, let's be real. I'm a lot younger than you. You're an OG in this thing, yeah. But even still, like I grew up in their music.
Yeah, of course.
You know what I mean? And I know that they built a foundation for UK music and for what the sounds are now. So like I learned so much. Like when these guys come through, I'm learning. You know what I mean? I'm taking so much from them and being around that success as well. There's a formula to it. You know what I mean? Obviously, people got TikTok, they're making them bangers and they're blowing up, but these guys didn't have that growing up. You know what I'm saying? So they have a formula. There's a whole science to this, and they did it because they loved it. Maybe it wasn't even for the money at first. It was just for the sound. Everyone liked the sound. So yeah, it's me learning from them. If I'm learning from them, then people, the audience are also learning from them, and that's kind of the guy I'm trying to be on this show, is where we're all learning together. Do you know what I mean? We're all it's asking questions to prompt people to open up and not just be like, yeah, obviously the single's dropping next week. Like what is the essence here? You know what I'm saying? Like if it's beyond just their success, it's also their human experience as well. They're humans, man. Like we're humans. People want to hear their struggles, and they want to hear. People like vulnerability. As toxic as it is, people like people being vulnerable. One, because there's like a little hierarchy there, but also because you learn from that. You learn from people's dark times. So
you feel like you want to always try to gain a learning experience when you have a guest on a show or someone come up to your show, get something out that's brand new that someone may have never come across before about that artist.
Yeah,
something important to you.
Definitely, man, definitely. And I mean, and as well as like, making things fun and engaging for social content and stuff. But to relate it back to your question, this show I'm working it out. I've got a vision of where I want things to be, but I'm working it out. And like, it comes back to what I said before, is like, big shouts to Rob Bruce. Rob Bruce is Rob Bruce. No one could be Rob Bruce. Omar is Omar, and no one could be Omar. So it's now just creating this evening show to be the Omar show, And yeah, with time, that's gonna happen, and I'm excited for the journey, to be honest, man. And it's being amongst like Shayna and Rob and Ras Kwame and all these like guys at Xtra. It's like I learned so much from just being around their energy, and it's exciting. And the evening shows, it's a vibe still.
Top 3 radio presenting tips for up and coming presenters, straight off the dome.
Yeah, man, straight off the dome, authenticity, man. Like you have to make sure you're yourself at all times. People buy from people. Also, don't be afraid to. Don't be afraid. Let me just pause there. Don't be afraid. Don't go on, yeah. Yo, why? Like, listen, we tend to do things out of fear all the time. Like there's it's a roller coaster analysis. When you go on a roller coaster, you don't want to do it. Yeah, I used to hate roller coasters.
Me too,
Bro, I'd jump on it more times. Sometimes I'd be like, no, never again. But sometimes it's like, I want to do that again. Yeah. Put yourself in these situations. Don't be afraid. Yeah. And also, like, just Nike it. Just do it. A lot of the time, we don't do things out of fear. We don't do things because we want to be validated in other ways. Do it if you just do it. Don't think about it too much. Like what I've kind of clocked is the best things come from the things where you're not even thinking, okay, I'm just going to do this now. You just do it. You know what I mean? You're not thinking about it too much because you might want to do something. Then you start thinking about it. Oh, nah, Dan's probably not going to rate that. Maybe I won't do it. Nah, just do it. That I know you said free, but just one more as well is like networking is definitely a huge thing in this industry. And I know always people always say it, and it's kind of quite cliche, but your network is your net worth, and it doesn't mean like sometimes you can speak to those people, get a network, and not act on it. Your network is not just going on LinkedIn; it's also just speaking to that person in the corner shop. I was in the sauna today, bro. I was chatting to my guy just about coming on your podcast. That was literally it. And some random guy was like, "What podcast you jumping on, mate?" I was like, "Oh, I explained your podcast and I explained what I do." And he works in TV production. Oh, yeah. Imagine like I wanted to get into like food TV is what he specialized in. Imagine I wanted to get into that. That's a contact. So I mean, just be friendly with people, smile, and just be yourself. And I think they're all intertwined. Do you know what I'm saying? And also just to people that are listening as well, like hit me up, hit Dan up as well, because I feel like, and you tell me as well, what I've clocked, and you're a prime example of this, because your energy is very opening. But creatives, unless you're a waste man, creatives want to help people, bro. Like people want to help people. You know what I'm saying? I guess that's why you reached out to me, like, and what you do as well. This is what Dan does, and I'm not gonna get shot too much, but yo. Free, I don't even ask for it, but advice, feedback, like, yo, you give me that, you know what I mean? Them voice notes and messages which you be sending, you check up on me, and it's like, it's nice to know that you've got someone looking down on you, and that is genuinely actually cares, you know what I'm saying? Because there's so many individuals in this game, so many man just out for themselves, and it's nice to, thank you for that, man.
I appreciate it, bro. Success to you, man. I was gonna say, now leading on from this, let's talk about the voiceover industry. A big, wide industry that you've got yourself involved in. You are now one of the voices on BBC Three, alongside myself. Shout out the whole BBC Three crew. How does it feel like, having your voice all over the TV, national? People can hear you in their homes, just like. Kind of like a sense of radio, but it's just free TV. So how does it feel creating those kind of voiceover links and speaking to the nation through their TV and making them comfortable before a TV program comes? How does that feel, getting into the continuity world? We'll talk about that form of voiceover first, and we'll go into a few other areas. That
one is you're right, it's like radio with TV. That's how I treat it.
That's how I treat it myself.
Sometimes I just go to radio with it. But nah, man, you're so right, and it's like it's very good. It's very creative. You know what I'm saying? I mean, look, I'm not going to talk too much about how we work at the BBC, but when it comes to scripting, and usually what we do is we'll script something before we voice it, just so they match up for Ofsted inspections and stuff like that. When I'm scripting and stuff, at first I was like, yo, this is long, man. So it's got to be scripting, and I don't come here for admin, I just came here to talk, because that's what we do. But it's like, and coming from a music background, when I'm spitting bars and that, and when I'm writing bars, I can channel creativity very easily, and it's just the same when I'm scripting voiceover links. You know what I mean? It's such a fun way to get creative. And with BBC Three as well, because it's an audience which is kind of representative of us, you can have fun with it, and you can be yourself, bro.
100%.
It's the main thing. You can just be yourself. Like, there's no like, right up next on BBC One, we've got, nah, man. It's like, yes, my people, what are you saying?
What's happening?
Well, go on, you know what I'm saying? It's weird, isn't it? It's weird. At first, at first I was like, I was drifting a bit into, welcome to BBC. But like, I'm just like, let me just be myself.
Pull it back sometime.
So I enjoy that, man. And when I remember I did a debut. I did a couple links, prereqs on BBC One for the launch, or for the day before.
The launch, and you're speaking to Nago Manchetti on the TV.
Right.
News as well,
that was, I remember watching that in my bed. I was gonna go sleep, but I was just staying up. I was like, no, I gotta watch this. And it was like, oh, this is mad, you know. The first time I saw it, I was like,
first time feeling,
this is just out here on the TV screen. But I was always thinking when I was younger, like, who were these voices?
Who are these voices?
Are they real?
Yeah.
Are they
exactly
just fake? Do you know what I'm saying?
What I thought. Where do these people come
Bro,
from?
we're just
how are they in the TV?
Bro, we're the people in the TV box.
And now it's us in the TV.
That's mad.
Yeah, it's mad.
And I think, so our manager actually, I'm pretty sure he said that you visualize yourself as a person in the TV box. What is it?
Yeah, this is very true. This is a true story. 10 years ago, let's go back to 2011.
Right.
When I started my voiceover career, fresh out of uni, got recruited like by an agent who liked my talent, signed me. Then One Xtra jumped on board, BBC One Xtra, and I became the voice of One Xtra for many years, man. For about 5 years, they really launched my career in voiceover. Shouts to Patrick, shouts to Matt Fisher. And when I was there, I used to be, go to the canteen, get some food in New Broadcasting House in West End, and then I'd always think where do they do the TV? Where do they do? I used to think the TV was in the West End building, New Broadcasting House. So I used to always say to Patrick, the sound man at BBC, I used to say, where they do the TV? Because there's continuity booths on the ground floor. And I used to see these little small booths. And I used to think, that's where they do it. It's in there. Then I was asking questions how can I get involved? Where they do it? And then Patrick used to say, oh, no, they do that in White City. Then, a couple of years later, I kept, being inquisitive about it, asking questions about it. Because I was always wanted to be in the TV, always wanted to be a continuity announcer. That was a dream job for me. And I always wanted it to be either at Channel 4 or the BBC. So I ended up getting some small work experience years later, maybe 5 years later at Channel 4. So I'd done my first ever voiceover link was Bob's Burgers. I was proper shaking. I ripped the link and it was pre-recorded.
Yeah.
And I showed my mum. I was like, yeah, mum, I'm on E4. Played it, Bob's Burgers, clipped it, saved it.
That was
treasure,
my
treasured that
currency.
So I was work experience thing.
Right.
So I was linking up with Channel 4, little things with them, and then big shouts to Gabby Power. Big shouts to her. She hooked me up with that, and then from there, I just carried on keeping it in the energy of the world that I wanted to do it, and just kept mentioning it, kept networking and seeing how I can make this happen. Who can I contact? And it's so funny that this is how I mean about it. It's all about the network, man, and just sometimes just living in that moment of life is where I was just doing something on a random day for BBC Sounds. And my friend, I was telling, he knew how long I wanted to get involved with the TV area. And he knew somebody and I ended up bumping into that somebody that he was talking about in the reception that day. Then we exchanged emails, and then she knew our boss now, then got in contact, sent over my show reels of experience that I've had prior. And then from then, I was given a shot to do some show reels. And then voila, I was on the TV, and my first ever link was Country File.
That's a journey.
Big shouts to Delray trained me on BBC One, and I introduced Country File, and I was just shaking. I was like, mad. Off the back of Country File, you hear the music.
So do you when you're doing your links, do you visualize yourself as a guy in a TV? Or do you visualize? Is it in your head? Is it like a radio broadcast thing?
Now it's more like I'm just trying to speak to. I feel like sometimes I'm speaking to that one individual, and then I'm speaking to my people. You know what I mean? So I bounce between that, where I just feel like sometimes I'm speaking to one person, and then sometimes I'm just speaking to, we're in the rooms, a couple of people. I can imagine people gathered around the TV, the family or the crew them or the friends them. I just speak to them like I'm one of you. I'm always trying to be I'm with you, innit? I don't know what's going on, really. So I'm never really giving much of the program away. I'm just I'm here, I'm with you. This is what's rare, tear. Listen to this. This is coming up in so. So I'm just I'm with you, really. Giving it. My thing is to always put a bit of salt and pepper on it. As long as I get to that work that day and put some salt and pepper, and I apply this to all principles from radio to voiceover to any kind of media I do. As long as I can put Omah, as long as I can now I'm in my lane of areas, and I've visualized and I've achieved a lot of my dreams. I had a dream where I wanted to be on BET. I became the first ever announcer on BET in the UK. I was the first ever. Before I wasn't doing it, they didn't have a TV announcer on BET, and I ended up being the first and done that for a long time, and then getting onto BBC. So it's been so amazing the journey. But now my thing is that it's all about salt and pepper, man.
Yeah.
I always have to sparkle a bit of my personality on it. I can't leave it stale.
Because any old Bob could do that, innit?
Yeah. Sorry?
Any old person could do that, innit?
Yeah. You just because there's so much people that can do the job and that, but it's like you just gotta put a bit of salt and pepper on it. Make sure you leave that booth or wherever with a bit of your personality that's left behind. Then I can sleep well at night.
Yo, that's truth.
Yeah, that's kind of how. Yeah, it was just more visualization and just I envisioned it, man, and I always wanted it. So now I'm here. I love it, man. I love it. Every time I'm on there, I'm smiling. And I'm like, yeah, man, this is vibes. Even it can be tough days, but
of course,
it's vibes no matter what. Like, you know, I'm not, and it's a high pressure. You know, but live and pre-record is different. I feel like live is a different kind of pressure. So it's like you're just trying to channel your keep level, just like you're doing live radio. You're trying to keep leveled, I guess, and trying to present yourself in the best way possible. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think, bro, I hear what you're saying about the salt and pepper as well, because you know when people are, I know a lot of people research the concepts of these things, but I'm on iPlayer, I'm just scrolling and I'm just looking about the basics of what the synopsis is, and then that feeds you the resources to put your salt and pepper on it. You know
have to put the salt and pepper, and I feel like it's TV, it's culture. So a lot of these programs, they have individual cultures to it, individual subjects and topics, whether it's football, whether it's fashion, whether it's a relaxed show about home environments or cooking. They're all shows. A lot of it's news, or it's all different topics we can relate to in life. So I feel like if you open up your mind, the environment can help you write as well. Just like you're writing lyrics as a performer and music. You know, your personal experience, which our boss sometimes calls what's the word, original ideas, continuity that you just talk with your friends and family, conversation that all of a sudden you was talking about that, right? That's in my script now. You know what I mean? So it's natural,
bro. Creativity is mad because deep. Like, see how we're just talking.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, you know where you want a conversation to go and stuff, but like right now, we don't know where we want to go, but we're just talking. It's like, where are we drawing this creativity from? It's like creativity is. What do you think creativity is?
I think it's that thing within us that just it's freeing of the spirit, man. Like it's something that's inside you that's been gifted from. I don't know what people believe in. I believe in God, so I think it's something that's gifted from God, and it's something that. It's a purpose that you need to let out. So I feel everyone's got some creativity in them, and I really, while you're here living on this earth, I really just want everybody just to get their creativity out. Whether it's like you work in finance all week and you want to sing at the weekend or do comedy, stand up at the weekend, do it. Do something to free your creative mind, man. I believe everyone's got a bit of salt and pepper in them. Yeah, just free it up.
Hey, free up your salt and blood clot pepper.
Oh,
yo, that's mad. That is true though, man. Yeah, but and Jojo, just think. Go on,
Jojo. How long we at for time to start make the content? We know that. How many minutes? About 15, 20 minutes. All right, 20 minutes left. Okay, let's carry on. Yeah.
Just like, bro, just off the back of that, yeah. When you're a kid and you're just like in your own world. The creativity is in abundance, and this is it. Yo, this relates back to what I was saying at the start, because you're so free as a kid, and that's when I had the dreams of I want to do this and I want to do that. But then when you're put in that environment with the artificial lights and a teacher on that low-paid job, doesn't really want to be there and show up for the kids, that just dulls your creativity. 100%. You know what I mean? And it if you're put in an environment where people unlock that, where you wake up in the morning, you do stretches and you do PE, I think a lot more kids would have more direction. A lot of kids are lost because they don't have the creativity isn't unleashed. There's two halves of your brain. You've got your left side of your brain, your right side of your brain. Left side of your brain is more logic and intellect, and the right side of your brain is more creativity. And you want them to be in balance and harmony to be at optimal function. And the way the system and society is set up is they just want you to use the left side of your brain. They want people as accountants. They want people as this and that. They want people to work on structure and order. You know what I mean? Where order and chaos, they come together. It's yin and yang, you know what I mean? There's a juxtaposition of both You want one foot in order and one foot in chaos. And right now, and you look how Babylon be set up, it's too much order, I think. You know what I'm saying? Which leads to chaos in a sense. I know that sounds very contradictive, but do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get you. We're going to get into a bit of mental health as well soon. But before we get into that, give the audience, I would say, 3 voiceover tips to get into the whole voiceover game.
3 voiceover tips would be set up a reel, set up a demo, but make sure your demo is directed at the voiceover job that you want to go to. So, for example, if it's to do with commercials, make a commercial demo. You can do that by looking at commercials, existing commercials on TV, and writing your own script, getting creative, writing your own script, and putting a demo together. It's probably best to reach out to a sound engineer or a producer who can do that. If you can't afford that, then there's definitely ways around it. Just definitely reach out to people on Instagram, and I'm sure you'll be able to find something out. But generic demo will get you generic demo will get you a generic job. So make sure that your demo is targeted at what you want. If it's continuity, then it's continuity. If it's commercial, it's commercial. If it's character, it's character. That's the first thing. Again, I'm gonna say it again, just to get in your head. It's networking, innit? Because I wouldn't have got my BBC Free gig without going on a platform called Presenter Jobs. It's called Presently now. It's a very good platform. They've got a connections book there where there's loads of industry emails, and there's also jobs being advertised. And that's networking. It's not like directly like speaking to people going on LinkedIn, but you're actively looking for things. I guess, forget networking. I'm gonna say be active. Actively look for things. And then the third thing would probably be believe in yourself, because I think there's a big misconception that voiceover work is all like, next we have. The thing about voiceovers, and I think this is why you flourished over the years with voiceovers, because you're unique. Everyone is unique.
Thank you.
So you may not sound like me, and I definitely don't sound like Dan. So that's cool. It's not a bad thing. We can both just do voiceovers, but in different realms, and there's an abundance of opportunities that are available. So, that would be them.
As you were just mentioning, there's different kind of gigs. What I want to know quickly, and I know the audience would love this. What would you say the funnest voiceover, obviously away from BBC Three, the funnest voiceover job you've done so far?
Probably, this is way before everything. This
and then you got to give us an example. I would do one as well on character.
An example,
You got to get into character.
All right, cool. You ready? Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
So this is way back. ADR, additional dialogue replacement. So this isn't a direct Menso Gums sponsors. It's none of that. Yeah. This is like background noise. Yeah. So it was Humans on Channel 4.
Okay.
We just like canteen settings. He was like, "Hey, Michael, you got a panini?" Yeah, set me that, man. Shut up, man. What are you saying? You going boxing after school? And what they do is they sync that into the background. Yeah. So you got the main character, and in the background you just hear, "Hey, Michael, shut up." Do you know what I mean? Like it's mad. Watching it all come together, that was probably the best. Your turn, bro. Go on.
You know what, bro? I would say my proudest moment would probably be when I done the video game for Mafia 3 on Xbox and PlayStation.
Oi, hang on a minute.
It was
Mafia 3.
Yeah, bro.
God, I know you got an example there, bro.
So it was like and the thing is, like, you know, when like you get nicely blessed like of a nice payday, and really all you had to say was Mafia 3 out now.
Yo, he's lit. You're actually lit, man.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's...
You know, it was so fun. It was like, Mafia 3 out now. Okay. Yeah. It was fun stuff, man.
I know that, video games are very popular now, isn't it?
I would say that's a very, for voiceover artists that are into characters, and I've been a gaming fan for a long time, years. That is a very, it's a huge industry, and that's probably one of the next phases of my career. I think like I've touched the waters a few times. I've delved in it a little bit, but I feel like I've gone to America, I've done my research, I've met the voice of Winnie the Pooh.
Listen.
Voice of Tasmanian Devil.
You know Rasta Mouse?
Yeah,
that's my guy.
That Reggie Hayes.
No, Rastamouse ain't Reggie Yates.
No, I thought that was Reggie.
Nah.
Rastamouse.
Will Vanderpoy.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's the one that got me into ADR when I was younger.
Brilliant.
And he does Rastamouse, and he does like, a couple other kids TV programs and that. But he's a real G.
Yeah, I love that.
He gave me a lot of guidance and advice getting into this thing. Yeah. But like that's my flex. Like, oh yeah, I know Rastamouse. Shut up.
Video games and character voices, that's a big market. So if you definitely got aspirations to get into that market, it's a huge market. That's another genre of voiceover. There's so many genres, and I feel like when you keep your voice versatile and with different vocal training, you can propel yourself into different areas, man.
Yes, most definitely.
And then going on to a bit of just touched a bit on mental health, and in this performance world where you're putting your body through a lot of pressure. This is one thing, and I feel like this is something that's not talked about as much. You're putting it's your voice, so people kind of underestimate. Oh, you get paid to talk. Oh, easy stuff, right? Yeah, but really and truly, it's not an easy task, because you're going through your daily life, doing what you're doing away from your work, and you could be putting your voice through a lot of stress for hours, training, and that's affecting your mental health as well. So what would you say for you is ways you cope with looking after yourself for a better vocal delivery, because this is something that pays your bills, and your voice needs to be on point all the time. If your voice ain't there, you're in trouble. So how are you looking after yourself as a young man, and how important is that to you at this stage, like your mental health and your vocal health as well in general?
These are conversations which are very important, man, because just being in like that industry comes with a lot of people around you that are like, oh my gosh, you work for blah blah, you know what I mean? You do the voiceovers on BBC One, oh my days. And it's almost like, okay, cool, now am I doing, you get lost in the sense of, am I doing this for myself because I love this? Or now because so many people are asking me questions, and now because I've got a presence on social media, am I now doing it for other people? You got to watch that, and I have to watch that. I speak for myself, because I have to remember why I did this, why I got into this, not just other people's validation. And social media can be, we know this, and these are the conversations that have been going on. It can be a scary place, because it's everyone's avatar which they put out, you know what I mean? It's that 1% of everyone's lives which you see. And when you're scrolling through social media, you're unconsciously comparing, sometimes consciously. You know what I'm saying? You're scrolling down, you're seeing people are doing things in your industry which you want to be doing, and you question yourself. And I think it brings out your own insecurities. It's very easy to be lost in that. And I've been setting time limits, doing this. It don't work, G. For me anyway, it might work for you. I'll be setting like 40 minutes a day. Ignore limit for today now. Forget that. And scrolling, waking up, first thing phone. It's very counterproductive. But there's ways around it. And I think it comes from understanding that there's more. I said this to you before, but there's more to your career. Does not define who you are as a person. When people say, yo, what do you do, man? What do you mean? What do I do? Like, what are you getting out of this? What if I say I work at Omah, whatever? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, there's more to it, and I think it's very narrow if you seem to, if you tap into that. So, I think it comes from remembering that you're more than your career, and your career does not define who you are. So, balance is key. You know, balance is everything in this life. So you need to make sure that it's not just social media and career and these conversations which you're focusing on. It's going to the gym, it's waking up and picking up a book, it's being around family. And I think those things are definitely helping. You know what I'm saying? Bro, I remember COVID, yeah? Like I said, it was in the realm of career and stuff, it was meh. But in terms of like my spiritual health, being around, and my mental, physical, emotional balance, it was there, because I a lot of the time you're caught in that pattern of hunger and chase, and then that causes compulsive behavior. When you break that pattern, that them tendencies stop, and you create new paths and new direction for yourself. So I think it's important to always be reinventing yourself, always be finding different paths and different ways to fulfill yourself, and not just relying on the external to fulfill your internal self. Because, yo, you do that, you're going to get to where you want to be, and you're not going to be fulfilled. You're going to want more. Like, yo, it was my dream to be a radio presenter. Yo, I'm a radio presenter, but I can tell you now that there's more to it. You know what I'm saying? I want to be a millionaire, but I know that if I just get to be a millionaire, as much of freedom and opportunity that I'll bring, there's going to be certain things that won't be fulfilled. I saw this Instagram thing that came out. It was like, what are the most valuable assets and things? And it's like money. Yo, forget that. Time, family, all these things go. You wouldn't. There's no price on family. You know what I'm saying? You wouldn't. Do you know what I mean? There's time. Like, these things are valuable. So you have to work out the priorities, write them down, and work out a way to reverse engineer yourself. And it's something that it can be hypocritical, because I don't do all these things, and I know it's things that I should be doing. Because, bro, like, I get anxious quite a lot. I used to have a lot of social anxiety. Just see how I'm closed off now. See my arms are there. But I used to have a lot of social anxiety, which I've kind of got over. But still, I get anxious, and it's just doing them things like going to the gym and talking to people. Like, yo, I know I'd be comfortable if stuff was going off. I could talk to you. I know in the past that you've had things going on and you've been able to talk to me, and like, to be able to have someone where you can talk to them, it goes a long way. So I think that's definitely key. And also in terms of like tone delivery and protecting the voice, I think them things help as well. Because let's be real, speaking, when people, like you said, are just like, oh, well, you just talk for a living, yeah. Well, yo, talking's energy. This is what I'm trying. You're saying this is energy, yeah. Typing is energy. Being a PE teacher is energy. It's all energy, yeah. So talking is a lot of energy, because it's not just your vocal cords, it's your mind, and then the creativity. You know, when you're spitting bars or you're ghostwriting, the juices run low. Do you know what I'm saying? So you need to top them up. So when you protect that energy and you do these things, like go for that steam room or sauna or that walk or to pick up that book, these are ways of reserving the energy and building the energy. So for when you deliver and do the show or whatever you're doing, it's there. Do you know what I'm saying? Cold showers as well, man. I don't do the cold showers, but I should. And I know there's great benefits. But that's what I would say. And just to have these conversations, man, because it's so easy to not talk about things. And I know, again, even this is becoming a cliche, like, just talk about your feelings, man. Nah, man. No one wants to talk about their feelings. Like, why would I want to talk about my feelings? But do it.
That's important. Yeah,
it's important.
And Omar, before we go, just want to know what's coming up for you. What's the rest of the year holding? And tell us about what the plans are, the early plans are for 2023.
Yo, 2020. So I ran a London Marathon this year.
Big up
that one, man. Thank you. That was a real good accomplishment. I really felt like I achieved something doing that. So I want to definitely do that again next year for 2023. Career-wise, I want to build in a TV space. Kids TV is always something that I've wanted to do. So if I ever pop up on a CBBC
thing, put it out there.
For real. That's it, man. So definitely TV, more sports presentation, more live events. And getting my face out there within the music industry. And also I rap as well. So for me, I wanna start to push my music out and let the world receive it, because I like it, I enjoy it, and I rate it, and I'm sure there'll be other people out there that would think the same thing. So these are all things that I'm gonna be doing and staying consistent with, and just building with other creatives like yourself, and coming up with everyone, because we all want the same thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, man. And just give out all your social medias where people can stay in touch with you, website, all this kind of thing.
Yeah, man. So Instagram, Omah Howard, OMAH HOWARD. Same with TikTok. I jumped on TikTok recently just to get myself out there and build this. That's another thing for 2023, is now utilizing all these social media platforms. And yeah, man, that's me there. Twitter, Howard Omah, so it's just the other way around. But yeah, man, hit me up. And like I said, from what we've been talking about today, if you're listening and there's any other things, man, I'm here for it, man. I'm here to help people just like people have helped me. So Let the circle of life continue.
Jeez, and just before we go, I need a life quote. What do you live by? We can put that up there into the world. What's that quote that you're living by and standing by?
Rhythm. Take that how you want, but just know that there's a rhythm to life, and you just gotta let shit unfold. And you're also in charge of your rhythm. You create your rhythm, but just let shit happen, man. Like, rhythm is a thing where you'll be in a dark place, but if you just allow rhythm, you can understand that there's teachings in that dark place, and you can understand that you're growing in that dark. So yeah, rhythm, man, and there's so much to that. So yeah, rhythm, think.
Jeez,
My guy.
Thank you for coming on the podcast. This has been Omar Howard, Dan Blake, Voices with Blake, episode 4. Peace and love.
Peace, man. Bless.